name is J.R. Myers, and I'm the SBIR project manager at the U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command, or MRDC as we call it, which is located at Fort Detrick in Frederick, Maryland. MRDC is the Army's medical material developer with responsibility for medical research, development, and acquisition. We have a relatively small office of 6 people. Ms. Colleen Gibney, who is my deputy. I know she's doing one-on-ones for this meeting. We also have an operations manager, and we have 2 program analysts, one for Army and one for the Defense Health Agency, SBIR STTR program. And we also have a technical assistance advocate, or a TAA, that supports the DHA program, Ms. Andrea Renner, who I believe is also doing one-on-one. So if we can go to the next slide. Let's see. So is this the disclaimer? Yeah. So I'm having a hard time seeing the slides here, but anyway, I have to put out a disclaimer. The views expressed today are those of my own, do not reflect the official policy or position of the U.S. Army, DoD, or the U.S. government. So slide number 3, we'll go to the agenda. Here, Judy, can you just tell me if that, is that showing up? It looks like, should I? Oh, there we go. The agenda. Okay.
Yes, we're on the overview of military.
Yeah, so there you go. So the agenda for my presentation today. So I'll give an overview of the military medical SBIR STTR opportunities. I'll focus on the Defense Health Agency and Army programs. I'll discuss the process flow for each program, as well as transition and commercialization support, which is provided by our technical assistant advocates, and sources of phase 3 funding. And I'll end up the discussion with some resources and hopefully have some time for a few questions. So go to slide number 4. So as you probably know, the Department of Defense is one of 11 federal agencies that participate in the SBIR program. Here you will see 12 components. We call them components within the DoD that participate in the DoD SBIR program. The 6 components at the top also participate in the DoD STTR program. Moving on to slide number 5. So this slide identifies the components that may have medical topics published in DoD Broad Agency Announcements, or BAAs. So the Army SBIR and STTR programs on occasion may have medical topics published. The Defense Health Agency will only publish medical topics. You'll also want to check out DARPA, or the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, as well as the Joint S&T Office for Chemical and Biological Defense for possible medical topics. So I would highly recommend, because, you know, I said some do, some don't. Sometimes it's in one BAA and not another. So please, I highly recommend signing up at the DSIP, it's called, the Defense SBIR STTR Innovation Portal. That's the DoD website that will post all these topics and BAAs. So sign up for their listserv to receive emails about the BAAs and new opportunities. Let's go to slide number 6. So this is our process flow for the Army and DHA program. So topics are published in DoD Broad Agency Announcements. There are a total of 6 BAAs published throughout the year, 3 SBIR and 3 STTR. Firms will submit phase 1 proposals against those topics. The proposals are evaluated by technical evaluation teams, and if selected, firms are awarded a phase 1 contract for a maximum $250,000 for up to 6 months under the DHA program. So you can see the Army SBIR and STTR programs have different funding amounts. So it's extremely important to read each component's BAA instructions carefully. DARPA, CBD, they may have different funding amounts as well. So please read the instructions before you go to submit a proposal. Towards the end of a phase 1 contract, firms start to prepare a phase 2 proposal, which is submitted and evaluated just like their phase 1. If selected, the firms are awarded a phase 2 contract for a maximum $1.1 million up to 24 months. So that funding amount and time duration is the same across all programs, Army, DHA. Towards the end of a phase 2 contract, a company may be eligible to submit a phase 2 enhancement application. So if a phase 2 product attracts outside funding, the DHA program can match dollar for dollar up to $550,000 for 12 months. The outside funding can come from industry or government. Ms. Andrea Renner, who I'd mentioned earlier, she's our technical assistant advocate. She'll work with the contracting officer representative, the company, and customer to assemble a phase 2 enhancement package for approval. Enhanced projects should be funded at the pull of the customer and increase technology readiness levels. We also have the ability to award sequential phase 2s, although they are rare and based on availability of funding. These requests come from the customer and unsolicited proposals are not accepted. Moving to the far right hand of the slide, so phase 3s within our program refer to any non-SBIR STTR funding. So for example, if a company is awarded a phase 2 enhancement, the non-SBIR funding is considered phase 3 and we track that accordingly. So slide number 7. As I mentioned, there are a total of 6 BAAs throughout the year, 3 SBIR and 3 STTR. Each BAA has a pre-release, an open, and a closed period. So during pre-release, we do not accept proposals. However, companies can contact the topic authors directly to discuss technical questions related to the topic. I would highly recommend taking advantage of the pre-release phase. Once the BAA is open, you're required to post your questions to the Q&A section of DSIP, and the topic author will post their answers, which everyone can access. So again, I feel you would want to take advantage of that pre-release phase where you have a one-on-one interaction with the topic author on technical matters, and then nobody else would see the responses. Please submit, and you've probably heard this many times already this morning, so please submit your phase 1 proposals early. You know, things happen, computers crash, files can get corrupted. And if you miss the proposal submission deadline, the DoD PMO, they don't take any excuses. So please make sure you give yourself enough time, read the topic, talk to the topic author, prepare your proposal, and submit it before the deadline. So just to give you an idea, the 21.1 BAA recently closed. We had a total of 13 DHA SBIR topics there. And you can view those topics on the DSIP website to give you an idea of what kind of topics that we publish. Slide number 8. So we get questions all the time. What is DHA, the Defense Health Agency? So DHA was formed in 2013 and is headquartered in Falls Church, Virginia. DHA is a joint integrated combat support agency that provides to the Army, Navy, and Air Force a medically ready force and ready medical force. They manage 400 healthcare facilities in support of 10 million beneficiaries. DHA also executes the Defense Health Program RDT&E appropriation. So they manage the research, development, and acquisition processes to support the needs of the combatant commands. So the DHA SBIR STTR program is executed under a shared services agreement with MRDC. So our office helps manage this program through a shared services agreement. And Commander Titana Olson is the DHA SBIR program director. I am not the program director. It is Titana Olson, and she is down at DHA in Falls Church. Slide number 9. So I know a lot of people probably in this group have applied to NIH. You know, those topics are investigator-led. So our topics are derived from these dedicated topic areas. So DHA, SBIR, STTR topics, as well as Army medical topics, all fall within a portfolio area under one of these 5 research programs. These are the people that we get the topics from. So medical simulation and information sciences, military infectious diseases, military operational medicine, combat casualty care, and radiation health effects. Again, our topics that are published in the BAA will all fall within one of these 5 research programs. And again, you can learn more information on each at the MRDC website. Slide number 10. So my office at MRDC manages medical topics and projects for the Army Fundamental SBIR program and Army STTR program. MRDC is part of the Army Futures Command, which is headquartered in Austin, Texas. Topics are published under those programs reflect the same general R&D areas as DHA, those 5 research programs, but also have to support the Army Futures Command's cross-functional team objectives. And there's a link there that you can go look at that information. The Army SBIR Fundamental Coordinator is Mr. Monroe Hardin. His office is located in Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. And the Army STTR program acting program manager is Mr. Michael Cacciuto, whose office is in Research Triangle Park in North Carolina. So slide number 7. So I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but I believe there's a belief out there that the DoD has limitless funding available. And I'm here to say that unfortunately that is not the case. This slide shows the Department of Defense acquisition process from beginning to end. And as you can see, planned S&T investments as well as SBIR and STTR investments are at the very beginning of a long and expensive decision-making process, which often includes lengthy regulatory approvals. So moving through each step of the process correlates to technology readiness levels as well as manufacturing readiness levels. So it's important to remember that funding for medical product development is very limited, and we want you to get partnerships and customers in place early to stabilize you and help you get through the acquisition process so we can potentially field your technology in the future. Again, funding in the DoD, against popular opinion, is not limitless. So please know that, but we're here to help and try to transition. And speaking of, slide number 12, the DHA and Army SBIR STTR programs provide the services of Technical Assistant Advocate, or TAA, to phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 small business performers. TAAs work with small businesses to help map out initial transition and commercialization opportunities. TAAs function as a liaison with government personnel, such as product developers, contracting officer representatives, and program sponsor offices. They answer questions on follow-up funding opportunities and discuss transition strategies with small businesses. They also facilitate phase 2 enhancement coordination that I mentioned earlier with all stakeholders. Again, Ms. Andrea Renner, who is doing the one-on-one meetings for this event. So please be sure to sign up and ask her about transition and commercialization opportunities. Let's go to the next slide. Slide 13, we can dive a little deeper into phase 2 enhancements. Their goal is to accelerate R&D to bridge the technology readiness level gap between SBIR STTR seed funding and the wider DoD network of program executive offices and advanced developers. So if you remember from the process slide, DHA SBIR STTR offers a 1-for-1 match up to $550,000 if the incoming phase 3 funds are determined eligible and the effort is found to fit an outstanding capability gap. The Army Fundamental SBIR phase 2 enhancements are currently on hold, and the Army STTR program does not offer phase 2 enhancements at this time. Enhanced projects should be funded at the pull of the customer and increase the TRL of the effort. Phase 2 enhancements are not just more money. We consider the phase 3 as skin in the game and involve stakeholder coordination. So we're always looking for an outside investor to put skin in the game that we then can match with phase 2 enhancement dollars. Let's see, slide number 14, sources of phase 3. Again, remember, non-SBIR money. Phase 3 derives from, extends, and completes an effort made under prior SBIR funding agreements, but is funded by sources other than the SBIR program. So when we talk about traditional examples of phase 3, those include commercial sales of a dual-use SBIR STTR derived product or component, a contract in which the performer utilizes an SBIR STTR derived technology to achieve the government goals, and non-SBIR RDT&E funds they're directly allocated from the Program Executive Office, or what we call USAMDA, which is at Fort Detrick, which is the U.S. Army Medical Material Development Activity. And then non-traditional examples of phase 3 include funding mechanisms via the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Program, which I'll talk about next, or other transaction agreement membership funded programs, such as MTech, or Medical Technology Enterprise Consortium. So let's talk about CDMRP, slide 15. So another great medical funding source outside of the SBIR STTR program is the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Program. So CDMRP originated in 1992 via the congressional appropriation to foster novel approaches to biomedical research in response to the expressed needs of its stakeholders, the American public, the military, and Congress. On the left side of this slide, it shows the FY21 research programs as well as the total funding available. You can see $1.5 billion is available to CDMRP. So some of you may be interested in cancer research. So just so you know, the DHA and Army SBIR STTR programs will not publish cancer-related topics. However, CDMRP has several cancer research programs. So I would encourage you to visit the CDMRP website to learn more and sign up for their email blast about current funding opportunities. Slide 16. So I'm going to kind of go off script here, and let's see if I can figure this out. I'm feeling lucky today. So if I could share my screen with you guys, I'm going to hit that button, and let's see if this is going to work for me. So, and I'm going to hit share, and let me pull this up and go over. Can you guys see that, Judy and crew?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, I'm a visual person, and hopefully the rest of you are too. So I'm going to kind of walk you through. So this is the MRDC webpage. You can learn all about where we work, my office is, but I want to go back to how our topics are generated. So under program areas, you can click on medical research and development. And you can see here, these are all of those research programs that generate our topics. So MIDRIP, or military infectious disease, we love our acronyms, we just say MIDRIP. You can see all of the areas that they're interested in: medical readiness, vaccine, biotechnology, combat casualty care. So you can go and click on View Combat Casualty Care, which will get into the mission, the background, the environment, goals and objectives. So then you can also see each one of them have their own websites. So just for time's sake, I've already loaded this one. So combat casualty care, you can see, you can go to each one of those research programs, click on funding, and up will pop funding announcements. So you can click on each one, submit a research proposal. That's a good resource to have. The next one, I'm going to kind of close these so I can. The next one is the New Products and Ideas website. So MRDC, again, not related to SBIR or STTR, but if you have an idea or a product that you would like to be seen by a subject matter expert at MRDC, you can do so by coming to this website here, logging in, and you can see here. So the NPI provides a means for our subject matter experts to assess these products and ideas. They will get back to you and say, we are interested. Maybe they're not interested, but this is a good way to at least get that out there. The next one, the SBA website. I can't say enough about this, and hopefully you all have gone to this website. Under resources, which I think is wonderful, they have tutorials, and you can see they run the gamut from start, program basics, all the way to finding topics, preparing a responsive proposal. You can click on it and, understanding the proposal evaluation criteria, building a winning team, using consultants. So another great resource available there. And lastly, DSIP, so the Defense SBIR STTR Innovation Portal. This is where you would go and find all the open BAAs for the Department of Defense. You will also find the DSIP listserv down here. That's where you're going to sign up to get all the information on new opportunities that come up. I will say, so I mentioned those 6 BAAs. That's what the Army and DHA are at my office are putting topics in, those official BAAs. But they also have out of cycle BAAs, they have open topics. So again, you know, you need to sign up so you're aware of when things are coming up. So I think that was it as far as those websites. So hopefully, again, I'm a visual person. I like to see.
So thank you. And if that's near the end, we have a couple questions. And
Sure.
while you have that website up,
Oh.
or maybe at the end of it,
Yeah.
folks, you like your colleagues at NIH and NSF were sharing a ton of information in a short amount of time, for which we are grateful. But so I've had multiple questions. Can we see the slides? Would you be able to share some of these slides, if not all, but I know you're DOD, so we can talk offline about that to see what.
So the slides that I talked about today?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they went through our PAO. So yeah, we're good.
Okay,
You can share those slides.
So to those of you attending, within the next 2 weeks, you'll get these slides and the others. But then while you have this portal up, you had mentioned the defense portal early on, I think at DISA, but also this link, it seemed to be pretty good, the MRDC link, because you can then drill down. Can you copy that into the chat maybe for people? If not, or just send it to, or just copy it and email it to me, and I'll get it.
Let's do this. Let's get crazy. I'm gonna try it here. All right. So here it is. So I'm gonna copy and the chat. Where's the
down chat? At the bottom, all the way at the bottom below your right down a little bit more.
Oh,
you might have to click. Yeah, you might have to click at the underneath your screen. It might open up a block. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's at the top here. Q&A, can I put it there?
Yeah, yes, Q&A or chat right next to it, and make it go to all panelists and attendees. Thank you. I think that.
I don't know if I did it. Oh, I haven't done it yet.
Okay, no pressure.
Answer live. Let's see. I'm going to put it here. Oh, I don't know. You know what, Judy? I better just send you. Why don't I put together a nice email with all the links? DSIP, MRDC, and you can maybe send it out to the group. Does that sound okay?
That's great. And I appreciate you taking your time. I know for a fact that your team has been busy with all the reviews that they're doing. You use terms that are a little bit at DOD, some stuff's contract, some is BAA. So the application or the nomenclature is a little bit different, but this site in particular looks helpful.
Yes.
People didn't hear when you were going through, it's on this site, the fact that this funding is limited to combat casualty, military operational medicine, medical simulation, radiation out effects, and military infectious diseases. That still covers a lot, though not cancer, but then you did mention that CDMRP has cancers.
CDMRP, right. I apologize, boy, it's like a different language. We love our acronyms, and I know I throw them out there fast, but yeah, I'll send a link to all of those. And again, cancer, you will not see cancer topics within our programs, but CDMRP, they will put those out.
And on your website, so for NIH, we're going to hear actually within the next hour tips on writing your specific aims, writing the phase 2. Right. You may have heard NSF, their focus is totally about how commercializable and innovative is your technology. Any high, we only have a couple, 3 minutes, but any high ranking advice to people who say, hey, I'm working on traumatic wound bleed. Right. How do I get funding?
Right. So again, we don't take unsolicited proposals within our program. They have to be directed to those topics that are very focused. So go to the BAA, see if there's topics within TBI, let's say. If
okay, you just said BAA and TDI for our non-DOD.
So broad agency announcement, that's where all our topics come out on that DSIP website. So you'll know when they're going to be pre-released. I would go to that website to see if there's any, you mentioned TBI, traumatic brain injury. I would go there to see if there's any TBI topics. If there's not, and this is your area of research, I would go to Combat Casualty Care, one of these websites, and you can see here, hopefully this is still sharing, right?
Yes, yes.
Traumatic brain injury. So you can go directly to their website, and where it said research proposal, maybe you can send something to them for TBI.
And I know of 160 some entrepreneurs who signed up, at least 70 of them were expressed interest in meeting with your colleagues you've mentioned, Colleen and Andrea.
Let me tell you, they're the brains behind the operation, trust me. So if you have not signed up with Colleen or Andrea, I would definitely recommend doing that. They're a wealth of knowledge. They know these topics inside and out and who to get a hold of. So yeah, I would definitely sign up with them.
And if you're in our partnering system for this event, you need to make sure that your topics are within the areas covered, because they're overwhelmed by the initial request, but also make sure you mark that you're available for this set of partnering or any others so that the system can schedule you. Well, I think we're out of time, but that was a great introduction. And we thank you for sharing your time and expertise. I see Colleen is going to send me the links. Colleen and Andrea may be online. Thank you as well.
Yeah.
We're happy to help spread the word to our many innovators about opportunities with DoD. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. I'm going to go get out of my tie now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Enjoy the day. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Okay.